Everybody here online, okay?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Let's take a moment of silence as we begin to celebrate and honor Erin's life together. The temple bell stops, but the sound keeps coming out of the flowers. Basho. Although Erin's life has stopped, just as the bell is now silenced, the resonance of his unwavering generosity, his curiosity, and his huge heart carries on. And it keeps coming out of our hearts because of the impression he made on each of us. This impression does not die because when we truly love someone and know their love in return, we discover that real love is indestructible. And we are coming to know this potent truth now in the face of this painful reality, even as we feel the ways in which Erin's life loved and love nourished us. In his waning days, Erin told Flint, "I am afraid, but I am also curious about what is next." When Flint asked if he meant the great mystery, he simply said yes. He maintained a sense of curiosity to the very end. His life was animated by wonder and marked by beauty. In fact, when asked on a retreat that Flint was leading one time, someone asked what his practice was. Some of you have heard this. "My practice is making beauty," he said. "My practice is making beauty." What better practice can you imagine? There's a well-known poem by Mary Oliver, who happens to be Erin's favorite poet. And there's a particular stanza in this poem, "When Death Comes," that reminds me of him. I thought I'd offer it here. "When it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms." Maybe once more, because it's just so good. "When it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms." Erin was both the bride and the bridegroom, married to amazement and taking all the beauty of the world into his arms. We were lucky beneficiaries of that wonder and crafting of beauty. In traditional Zen monasteries, there's a simple percussion instrument, some of you know this, called the han. It's a thick, hard wood plank that's hung near the meditation hall. And you strike it with a mallet to summon the monks to come sit. And it produces this kind of sharp, penetrating sound that carries throughout the grounds. And there's an inscription written right on the face of the wood so that every time the mallet sends out its urgent call, this message is sent with it. It calls out, "Great is the matter of birth and death. All is impermanent, quickly passing. Awake, awake. Don't waste this precious life." Erin's life and his passing sent out that sharp and penetrating call. Just look around. Notice the warm and intimate response here in this space and online. We responded to that call to sit in mournful silence, to speak our truth of love and loss, and simply to be close to one another as we try to come to terms with the inconceivable. We know this is the only way to face this great matter of life and death. We also know that deep inside, we can't do it alone. So I wanted to share a few things about Erin today that I hope give shape to the life we are honoring. And a little later, others will have a chance to share as well. The last time I saw Erin in person was in Molokai a couple of years ago. That was the first time I'd been to Molokai and done a retreat with Flint, and was lucky to be there. Flint and Erin had the sense that something was up with his health. They knew it was something kind of significant, but at that point, we weren't sure what. But one evening, he and I were sitting on the porch of the hui as the sunset splashed the sky with pink and orange, and if you've seen pictures or have been there, you know that particular sunset. And we talked about a lot of things, but there was one thing that stayed close to me after that conversation. It was that his chief concern was not about himself. It was for Flint. He said, "I'm so worried about Flint. So many people need him. If this goes how it might, this is going to be so hard for him." And that to me felt like Erin, all summed up in a quick sentence. Watercolor, sunset, caring for others, caring for those he loved most. Sitting in one of the most beautiful and pristine places in the world, facing the first shadows of what would become his illness, and his mind went straight to the one he loved most. Not what will happen to me, but who will care for him. That kind of love doesn't announce itself, it just shows up and does what needs to be done. And that was also a pattern of Erin's life. Those of you who served on Appamada's board, or who've been a part of Appamada for a long time, may remember Erin's present, clear, precise, wryly funny, as he managed our books and kept our organization running. He didn't do this for recognition. He did it because it needed doing. And because he could see what others couldn't always see. That a spiritual community doesn't float on Dharma talks alone. Someone has to mind the unseen details. And he did so quietly and wholeheartedly. And here I want to say something about, it's a role that's easy to misunderstand. And that being the spouse of a beloved spiritual teacher is no simple thing. I say this with some degree of experience, having grown up the son of a minister. So I've watched this firsthand. And it would be easy and perhaps forgivable to be overshadowed in that role. To be seen as the one standing just off stage while the teacher holds the room. Erin could have been diminished by this. Instead, he held his seat with grace and steadiness. He understood that Flint's work in the world was also, in a very real sense, his work. He supported Appamada not from obligation, but from his own deep commitment. He held this Sangha in his own way with his hands, quietly, practically, beautifully, and with a fullness of heart that made everything else possible. Appamada exists in no small part because Erin Curtis made space for it in his life. And we are here because of it. This was Erin's way to curate beauty and offer care. Even in his final days, barely able to walk or speak, he said to Flint, "I just want to know how I can help out." His message was never look at me. It was always look toward each other and see what needs to be done. We began the service with what feels like an increasingly rare commodity, silent pause. When we truly stop, we have the opportunity to open up to all that is. Facing what is a rare act of courage. The courage to meet what we would rather avoid or deny. Erin met this truth with both fear and curiosity. And in doing so, he showed us what it's like to face the great mystery without turning away. To face an illness no one would want to choose for themselves or for their spouse without turning away. This is called wisdom. Our willingness to become reflective in this gentle space of mutual care invites us to settle into the present moment. In so doing, we begin to feel how hard all of this is for each one of us, the person sitting right next to you or on the screen. This is what all the teachers in every tradition demonstrate, the willingness to turn toward the heartbreak at hand, even though we would rather turn away. Erin knew this turning. He knew the generosity of turning toward suffering. This is compassion. As we turn toward each other with minds and bodies full of grief, we naturally connect. In this shaky intimacy of grieving hearts, we change each other. The compassion to turn toward heartbreak over and over again, and the wisdom to respond to that heartbreak with kindness. This is love. Together we share the anguish that we do not have the chance to show Erin our love one more time in bodies together. But we do have the opportunity to pause, to reflect, to connect to that deep source of love that remains in the wake of his passing. And this connection is the vehicle for our grief. And grief requires a witness. So we'll invite a few stories and bear witness to Erin's beautiful life. We have a few folks who are going to speak first, and then we'll invite folks both who are on site and online to offer their reflections as well. Let's go to Marla.
Thank you, Ed. Erin and Flint were like two chambers of one heart, giving life to the same body of love. Today, we're remembering one chamber of that heart, my dearest friend of 50 years, and how his spirit lives on in the examples he set and the charm and refinement he shared with so many of us. Erin's wonderful sister, brothers, and nieces in Colorado are with us today online. And the entire Curtis family shares many of the loving, generous, diplomatic qualities that defined Erin. And I'm so glad they could be here. Erin and I became close in high school, and later we were roommates at the University of Colorado. And right in the middle of that magical time in my life, Erin met Flint. So while I technically lost a roommate, I essentially gained a brother-in-law. One of the things that first drew me to Erin was how funny he was. He had a sly and slightly tilted way of observing life, people, cars, clothes, just about anything, and finding the oddness of things, and then describing them with an imagination so rich it could almost make anything hilarious. And as our friendship stretched and deepened, I was always thinking, I can't wait to tell Erin about that. Over the years, our funny bones became so calibrated that sometimes all it took was a glance and we would crack up. I've never experienced that kind of a mind meld with another human being. Erin was unique, and he made life feel like a celebration. With Erin, everything revolved around grace and precision, the satisfaction of an exquisitely prepared meal, a breathtaking floral sculpture, a perfectly folded napkin. Nothing was too small to deserve care, including, of course, his wardrobe, because Erin was always impeccably dressed. He curated beauty and delight everywhere he went. In Denver, he managed a vintage clothing store for a while in a shishi part of town and became somewhat famous for one particular display window featuring flying kitchen appliances. In Austin, he created the high-end gift and stationery stores Nouveau, and later he worked with antiques, architects, and interior design. People sought Erin out because he had a rare gift: discerning beauty and balance, and knowing how to integrate them with everything else. He was also an adventurer, and I shared with him and Flint some of the most exotic and exciting experiences of my life. But perhaps Erin's greatest gift was loving his friends. There are countless people for whom Erin's friendship was a cherished part of their lives. It certainly was of mine. And I've lived most of my life now thinking, I can't wait to tell Erin that. Letting him go brings peace in knowing that his suffering has ended. And what remains now is gratitude and the miracle of having shared a life with such a loving and extraordinary man.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Cassie, who's here with us in Atlanta.
I'm going to say some of the same words that Marla said because they're so true. And I might have to look at the notes on my phone because it moves so deeply in us. And the first word is grace. Grace welcomed and flowed through him. The moments were graciousness. When Marla said he liked odd things, I was just like, oh, no wonder. I felt from from the very first encounter, accepted. And all of the moments were acceptance. Even when the stories in my mind were telling me I was otherwise, the felt embodiment present of acceptance washed them away. Okay, now I don't remember the third paragraph. I'm so sorry, I have to look at my phone. Oh yeah, love. My mind is drifting in and out with him and seeing his presence and hearing his, oh, good job. And hearing his voice. I'm sure you've heard his voice. All of the moments were wrapped in love. All of the words cocooned. We cocooned. And his love for us was also his love with nature. And how he deepened beauty through nature and in us. Marla said refined, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's one of my words. Because elegance, yes, elegant, yes, but not lofty. It was the intertwined part of elegance that were the moments with him. And he taught me love. He taught us love. He teaches us love. He's teaching us love now. I'm so grateful to have had this experience with all of you. Thank you. Thank you. I used to deny these, but
So we're gonna open some space for reflection. We'll start with folks who are on site first, and then we'll turn to folks who are online. So if anyone is on site, oh, Flint, sorry.
I think Peg might be here.
Oh, good. Yes.
Not yet. Where are you, Peg? Would you raise your hand?
Virtual hand.
A virtual hand.
The other hands, yeah.
There we go.
There.
Get all hands on deck. I'm sorry I was delayed joining you. I had such a special feeling with Erin, but I didn't have as many years as Marla had. I'm really jealous, you know. And Marla had so many years with him. He had, from the beginning, a gift of genuine intimacy, which surprised me. I guess it's so rare to meet someone and have the immediate sense. You've known them forever, maybe in some other life, or so much ease, so much care, so much sharing. Just as Marla described, it was almost like a mind meld. So I can not add a whole lot to what those deeper reflections are from longer time, but I can tell you a couple of stories that where Erin really taught me something. One, it has to do with these glasses that I'm wearing. Right. When I had to get new glasses, I thought, I don't want to go wander around in this glasses store alone. I need support. So who do you want for support but Erin? The master of style, and he was very, very willing to go. And was a good thing because I'm sure I tried on every pair of glasses in the store at least once and sometimes twice, just so undecided. And this pair of glasses really struck me, but they were way out of my price range. And so I said, Erin, look, what do you think? And he said, those are perfect. And I said, well, yeah. So what about these others, And he said to me, they're on your face. And that was the deciding factor, apparently. So I've never had another pair of glasses since. I wear them in honor of Erin. I cherish our moment picking them out. But there were many moments like that, especially when we were building the little house and back. And we would go off to IKEA, or we would go off to Home Depot and bring back all these samples of hardware for the kitchen. And it was always such a joyful kind of outing or field trip, He came Wednesday mornings and did the books at Apamata, which is why you are able to be sitting there. Because he helped us so much keep our finances straight and know what we were doing. And so in everything that we did with that little house, he was part of every single decision. We loved every single thing that we put into it, every single piece of the design. And his eye was so impeccable that I always trusted it. Whatever he thought was going to look the best or be the best, I knew it was going to be perfect. Not just pretty good, not just a okay fit, not just the budget choice, but something that would be really perfect in that space. And through that, I felt like our friendship just blossomed. And those of you who had experience with him, what a precious and very personal thing that is. So we would laugh and laugh on Wednesday mornings at all kinds of things. As Marla was talking about, he had a gift for making things that might seem kind of somber or dull really funny. So he so brightened the space, he so brightened the origins of Apamata and gave it such a lightness and such a beauty. He came and helped the flowers folks learn how to arrange flowers for the altars and for the other spaces in the zendo, and such a big heart. He always had the most generous interpretation of whatever it is you were bumbling around trying to do. Or whatever difficulties you were facing, he had the true bodhisattva gift of releasing whatever was held, whatever was suffering in the midst of that situation. So when Flint and Erin moved to Hawaii, I knew I was going to be really savaged by it, because I would miss those times that we had together, not just Flint and I teaching and working on our teaching, but those wonderful mornings with Erin and those opportunities to connect with him and be with him. We go out to lunch, or it's just a light in the world, a light. And that's the loss.
Thank you. So we'll open up first for reflections for folks who are here on site, and then turn to folks online. Is there anyone on site who'd like to offer a reflection? You can just stand where you are or come up if you'd like.
In 1986, I lived in a little house in Austin, around 45th and Ramsey. And I had one of my jobs, it was 7 of us that lived in that house, and was to cut the grass. And the house next door sold, and this lovely, beautiful gay couple moved in, didn't really get to talk to him much, but all the houses, the old houses of that neighborhood, as this house here, they have little front porches. And all of a sudden that front porch that I've been looking at for a couple of years just turned into the most highly beautiful, curated front porch you could imagine. I was like, there they are. Skipping ahead a little bit, then so I got to be good friends with Flint, mostly through Westlake psychotherapy and those wonderful days, and other things. I had to do a story about Flint about cancer care. He did a lot of wonderful work on Nueces Street for people that needed it, and we got to be friends. And then I was invited to do a family portrait, and Erin's sister came to town. It was a gorgeous, and I want to tell you that both Erin and Flint had the most magnificent hair in those days. Really good looking men. And so I don't know how it happened, but when Nouveau got to be there, Erin invited me to take pictures that would go in the Austin Chronicle, and he was just so, whatever you want, and it was like being told, okay, go into the Museum of Modern Art, pick one thing and make a photo of it. It was like, because everything in his cases and stuff were so beautiful. What I loved about your remark, Nate, about a curator of things that are beautiful. It's just, whether it was the front porch or his beautiful shop, always, and all the architects in Austin knew about him and really admired him. And that was a great thing of when you meet someone who's just dripping with elegance in everything they do. He could probably take my junk drawer and turn it into something beautiful, but I think that's the story I wanted to tell.
Hello, I have a very brief story I wanted to mention that kind of riffs on what was just offered, and that I was living in Dallas in the mid-'80s, working for a fashion publication, and this amazing store opened on Oak Lawn. And I was in my 20s, Erin was in his 20s, but and there was just something about that store in the midst of that whole zeitgeist of Dallas in that time and everything that just so fully spoke to me and friends of mine aesthetically. And we covered the opening of that Oak Lawn location of Nouveau. And it was like, I know the word keeps coming up again and again about the curation. It was like the curation, the eye, the way that it brought forth so many things that were happening, I think, at that time in design and art, but not in a way that was just riffing on other elements of what was going on. It was really its own vision. And to find out later that this was Erin's and Flint's being there as well, that was such an amazing kind of full circle in many ways as I came to sit at Apamata and to know this community. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Any others on site?
I'm Clayton, and I wish.
Clayton, would you come up closer?
Oh, sure. I'm Clayton, and I wish I had known Erin as long as you have. But I did 2 summers ago have the remarkable good fortune of being on Cape Cod, where my in-laws have a house, and Flint goes there to teach in the summer. And Erin stayed back in Hawaii, and Flint had COVID, and I had just had COVID. So I got to go visit Flint and get him COVID tests and other things. But I was offered the most delicious task, which was taking a letter that Flint had written to Erin to go mail. And I'm not sure I'm getting this quite right, Flint, but he said he was writing them regularly the whole time he was away. And it was so romantic and so inspiring. And I was like, how do these people who've been together for so long keep that beautiful, flirty, loving, caring romance so alive? And I think that is one of the best gifts that Erin has given us. And I'm going to just say it to you, Erin, because I didn't get to talk to you very much at the Hui when I was there. But Erin, through you and Flint have given us a model for how to stop thinking so much about what we're getting and how to give. And I want that kind of ability to love. And you and Flint, thank you for giving that to us. And Erin, I wish I could have been with you more, but that one night you made us the lobster salad on Cape Cod in the house over the bay, and the sun was setting, sunsets as magnificent as the Hui, and we ate the lobster salad that you have so generously prepared. It was that moment of giving and pleasure and beauty that you made me feel special and loved. So I will never forget it. And those sunsets over the bay, you live on in those. So thank you.
Kim.
So, Clayton, I'm glad you spoke to Erin, and that's really a beautiful privilege that we have in a memorial, in a Buddhist memorial service. So, Erin, I want to tell you a little story. 19 years ago, I confessed to a friend that I was turning toward Buddhism, and she said, "Well, why would you do that? They believe in rebirth." So that became a nice exploration, and I even took a course once in rebirth. Not that it helped me, you know. Basically, I came across Thich Nhat Hanh's idea about rebirth, which is that the things we do in our life continue, and that's our rebirth. And Erin, you know, I was thinking today that beyond that, you have continued after your passing to give to us by assembling us and by teaching us, you know, partly recently through Flint's sharing just how deep love is and how important it is to feel. So thank you, Erin.
Is there anyone else on? Come a little closer, we can hear.
Okay. Hi, Flint. Missy and I are here. Been here so many times. I loved your talk that we got to hear a few weeks ago, and this reminded me of what I wanted to say to you. And this is a card that I love to give to friends and clients who are going through not so much loss, but change like this. Transformation. There's a butterfly on top of it, and I'm sending this to you because we thought you might be here, and I brought it for you to have here. But in one moment, my friend was in my arms, and in the next moment, my friend was the ocean, and I was swimming in eternal love.
So I want to say this because no one else has brought it up. The wedding. I went to the Hui for the first time, and thank goodness went with Peg and Margaret Keys.
Margaret.
Yeah, and I'm thinking a lot about Margaret today. And that's where I met Marla. And I had known who Erin was, but that was the first time I got to talk to him. And unbeknownst to me when I went, they were planning to get married while we were all there. And what I want to say is that there were, maybe 20 of us, Flint, in the circle on the front yard. And I know this wasn't just for me, that Erin gave this to every single person he was that he saw there. Oh, and Liz Young was there too. When he put the lei over my head, he made eye contact and gave me a hug. And as Cassie said, there was that immediate acceptance. But more than that, it was like a flower saying, I recognize you too. And so much love. And I just want to say that was probably one of the best moments of my life, to attend your wedding. Thank you.
It's open to folks online who'd like to share any reflections. Please raise your digital hand so we can find you. It's hard to say words.
Maybe she's still muted.
Yeah, we're still muted. You're good, Rosemary.
Good now? Okay. I don't know if I can say this directly to Erin. I'd like to. About your warmth and sensitivity. So I went to the Hui twice to the retreat, and I don't know that we spoke that much, but he just gave me a sense of belonging immediately. And I think he was sensitive to my need for that.
Hello, I don't know in person most of you, and I didn't know Erin in person, except for one time at the Hui, and actually Erin and Flint's house. I had a chance to meet Erin briefly, and all the things that people have said about him came through to me in that short, welcoming, beautiful, all of that generous moment. People have also talked about the way that Erin is still teaching us, and about Erin and Flint's relationship, the loving relationship they shared for so long. That too is teaching me today. I don't usually show up raising my hand in these situations, but I need to today. I'm dealing with a situation of caregiving with my partner, a woman who had a chance to meet Flint at the Jukai ceremony. And as I've been living into this for the last several years, I have learned so much by watching and listening to Flint and my practice. And I just want to say thank you to both Erin and Flint. I'm showing up here today there was nothing else I wanted to do, and I can already feel, I don't know, the resurgence of love and courage and all that, I know that it takes to move through this transition. So I want to express my gratitude. Thank you.
Aaron had a nickname for me, and it was a mung bean, was what he called me. And I called him my master mung because he did teach me so much. He combed my hair. He made the most beautiful cakes I've ever tasted or seen. He taught me how to make flowers for my table, and I loved doing that, and especially wondering what he'd think when he'd come over and see them. And he was always said the right thing at the right time and was so encouraging. And over the years, I haven't seen him, and that's really kind of broken my heart. But I always knew he was there, and when we'd text occasionally, he was always just so kind. And there really just isn't anyone like him that I've ever known. And I miss him. And he was just so bright and funny. He would take a leaf out of the centerpiece and he would like stick it in his ear and take the funniest pictures or a ribbon from someone's package and wrap it around his head and just kind of make a funny face. And he was funny. He was really kind, and he was also so funny, and it made the whole room light up. One Christmas, he took a whole string of lights while my son was sitting in this chair, and he wrapped him around like a Christmas tree. The little twinkling lights all around my son, and when he was doing that, my son was just soaking it in. I could just tell that Erin's soft touch was just bringing the love out of my son and the two of them. And it was just the little things that he did that showed so much love. And I still feel them. So I say that I miss him, but when I talk about it like right now, I'm still feeling it. So anyway, that's all. I wasn't going to say a word today, but I couldn't help myself. So thank you for giving me the chance.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to say a word either. But it occurred to me when the first person spoke about Erin worried about Flint. And I think a lot of us have been worried about Flint. So I'm going to speak directly to Erin. It's a beautiful photo. And say no one is going to be able to replace the love and care that you gave Flint. But we are all really going to try.
Yeah.
And we will offer ourselves fully to Flint and offer as much love and support as we possibly can.
And we have two more people online.
I'm going to say something just really quickly. It's 5 minutes until the hour that Erin died.
So, Erin, I just wanted to say thank you. I didn't know you that well, just a few brief exchanges in the Apamata back room, but I got to know you through Flint, and I feel like when I was single and bumbling from relationship to relationship, I got a lot of contact wisdom through Flint about with his relationship with you. And Flint shared some things about you coming together, and the message I took was, don't when you're with somebody, just be with them. Don't be evaluating. And that with me, and then also too, I remember once Flint saying, I think I asked how long you two had been together, and Flint said, it was a long time. And then Flint said, yeah, we're still waiting to see if it's going to work out. And the wisdom I took from that was, look at your partner each day with fresh eyes, each moment, and don't take it for granted. So thank you for loving Flint and teaching him about relationships so he could teach me.
Looks like we have the Curtis family there.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm Amanda. I'm Erin's niece. There's Gwen, Erin's other niece. Will, her husband, and Uncle Lad. We all extend our gratitude. I just wanted to say something to branch off of how Erin enhanced beauty where he went, and also his comedy. He was a very, very hilarious person. So, growing up, Gwen and I would receive very, very fabulous packages of shoes, clothes, big, poofy, feathery lays, I guess you would say, and a lot of bling bling. And it didn't take long with the help of Erin and Flint, where Gwen and I's alter ego, Miss Fancy Pants, was created. We would make videos that we would send to Erin and Flint, and I think they're very embarrassing, so I'm glad that we don't have any to share today. But it was just a core memory of developing our sense of humor, fashion, and just how loving and caring Uncle Erin and Uncle Flint were to us growing up. They're just absolutely amazing humans. And I had such an amazing experience with Erin during his last moments here. Very spiritual, and he kept on asking, Flint and I were laying in bed with him, and he kept on asking us, like, can I do anything? What do you need? No, there was nothing ever said about him and what he needed. He was so concerned about us. It was so beautiful, and little does he know, I hope he does know, how much of an honor it was to be able to sit and be there with him during those moments. So I don't know if anybody else wants to, but thank you so much.
I'm Lad, Erin's older brother, and his younger brother and his sister here as well. And we're on a family ranch in the house where he passed away. And we were so honored that he came home to die. It's wonderful to see all of you because you are a part of his life we never saw. And obviously he had a big impact based on what you all have said and the number of people here. So that feels really great. I can tell you that his sense of humor was lifelong. It started at his teenage years and just continued from there. But the other side that we saw of him was how wise and steady he was when we had to go through some tough family times, deaths and things like that. He would come home, and his counsel was so valuable to us. as we work through those things. I can also relate that none of your stories are a surprise to me. When he and Flint arrived here to start hospice, one of the first things he did, of course, was asked if he could help do something. And I told him the house was his to do with as he wanted. And so he immediately began rearranging the house. In the pattern that I recognized as his get ready for a party. And it struck me so much that here he was getting everything ready for a party for his own death. I'm sure he wasn't thinking about himself, certainly. It was about everyone else. So I have to say, we'll miss him deeply.
Yes.
I guess that's it from here.
Thank you.
So I want to speak to the time that Flint said he was sitting in a church in Santa Fe and Erin came to him and said, "It's true. It's all love." And I'm not surprised that Flint noticed that it was almost in 5 minutes before Erin was going to die, because I was sitting over here and I got the very clear message that I needed to stand up and come read a poem that I received when the same moment I was getting an email from Flint telling me that Erin was transitioning to hospice. I was in a writing class and I received this poem and I sent it to Flint, and I think Erin had a hand in it. It's called Blue by Margella Kelly. When I can't find a noun for what you are to me, I think of how there was no word for blue in ancient Greek. Was it simply beyond description, or were they so exposed to the color they became fatigued to it? Did they just identify what was useful and disregard the rest? And are there other colors we haven't found a name for yet? Like when I first went to introduce you and found I'd sailed beyond the wine-dark horizon of my lexicon. The word boyfriend must have been set adrift somewhere between middle age and girlhood. "This is my lover," I said, but others got uncomfortable, as if we'd taken all our clothes off. What can I say? Not partner, not other half, not soulmate, not object of affection, not knight in shining armor, not Prince Charming, not my darling, my stud muffin, not pumpkin, honey, sugar, sweetie pie. This is my cerulean. I'll say my sapphire. He's my scion, my Asian. You are midnight, you are electric, you are sky and sea. To me, and every other shade, Homer had no name for between violet and green.
Let's turn to Flint to close out our reflections. If you would find your way to your programs, we're going to do a reading together in honor of Erin. You find the poem called In the Blackwater Woods. So as so many have described today, Erin's practice was making beauty. And Mary Oliver's practice was paying attention. And they're so closely related. And Mary Oliver was Erin's favorite poet, so we get to indulge in this again. So let's bring our voices together now and read this poem in celebration of Erin's beautiful life.
In the Blackwater Woods by Mary Oliver.
Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this, the fires in the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. As surely as we are born into this world, we leave it. It is the way with everything. Returning to the source of truth, Erin, you have finished this life. The great mystery we all face is no mystery to you now. You are already well on your way. You have gone before us, maybe by a few years, a few weeks, or a few days, but we do not know how far. You remind us that we are all uncertain about our lives. May our voices wash over you and cover you with a bright, beneficent rainbow of wisdom and compassion. As you cross the great ocean of birth and death, please receive our heartfelt wishes as we bid you farewell. May you realize boundless peace as we let you go. Please stand, and if you're able, and join me. We'll close with a reading together, a poem by Hafiz to accompany Erin.
Light by Hafiz.
Light will someday split you open, even if your life is now a cage. Little by little, you will turn into this whole sweet, amorous universe. You will become so free in a wonderful secret and pure love that flows from a conscious, unappointed, infinite light. Even then, my dear, the beloved will have fulfilled just a fraction of a promise he wrote upon your heart. For a divine seed, the crown of destiny, is hidden and sown on an ancient fertile plain you hold the title to. Oh, look again within yourself, for I know you were once the elegant host to all the marvels in creation. When your soul begins to bear bloom and laugh and spin in eternal ecstasy, oh, little by little, you will turn into God. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was a bridegroom taking the world into my arms. Thank you, Erin. We love you. We will have a reception and an open sit for those who are on site. Thank you all so much for joining us in this moment. It's so good to be with all of you.
May all go to the reception. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing me this privilege.
Need to on monitor.